so we had a little issue with our time zone thing. This is not the first time this has happened. And you made a comment in your email that you may have messed up on the math front. And I don't know if you know this about me, but actually I have a shirt on. Yes. So I'm a math tutor. Part of what I do, I have an education business. So I'm gonna graciously accept that you did make the mistake because I don't want to put myself out there as if I made any type of mathematical error with this.
Well, I got the emails to prove it.
Right, right. Could you just delete those if you don't mind?
Okay, maybe.
There we go. Perfect. Well, happy to have you on, dude. One of the biggest joys for me with this platform is to be able to do just this, right? Someone that I've been checking his or her content out for years and inspired by such content, and now having a chance to just have a conversation. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. Very much.
Yeah, dude. So a question that I stole from another podcaster that I thought is amazing. I'm going to start off with that with you, and I want to know what young Peter was like. What were you like growing up?
Oh, I was very shy, happy kid, not into music at all.
Wow.
Just radio stuff basically. But nothing in. Yeah, just I loved video games.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Very.
it. Felt a little lost during the teens, and didn't really know what to do. Oh, did you hear that my neighbors are having a?
I did not.
No.
Are they doing some work up there?
I hope not.
Yeah, all throughout the whole conversation, we got to turn noise cancellation on. Okay, so a couple things jumped out. I'm also a gamer. I was playing some God of War Ragnarok earlier this morning on PS5. Nice. I was on the exercise bike, and that's my thing now. I have one of these. What is it, like a assault bike? I think the name is the ones that have like that turbine in it that are pretty loud as you go back and forth. And so yeah, my go-to thing now is I just not force myself, but sometimes, it's hard to like have the motivation always to do that. So like whenever I'm playing that game, it's when I'm on the bike and I have the headphones on, not these, but like nice ones connected to the control. And it's like, kill two birds with one stone. That's really cool. We're going to talk about video games for sure. Cause I want to know a little bit, actually, well, I'll ask you now. What kind of were you like into Nintendo stuff? Or what kind of games were you into growing up?
Yeah, I was a Nintendo guy, totally.
Yes,
N64, N64, GameCube,
yes.
Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color was my first Game Boy. But
nice.
But we had a computer. But I never had like a proper gaming setup. So for PC, so it's always been console. And then I moved over to PS4. And played with my friends. Now, unfortunately, they moved over to PC, so now I'm
You're just on your own island over here.
Exactly. Now I'm mostly watching esports and get my gaming fix through there.
There you go. So, Breath of the Wild sequel, Tears of the Kingdom. You're getting it. You're excited for it, I'm sure.
I don't have a Switch actually.
No Switch.
Switch.
Okay. Surprising.
Believe me, I've been longing for it for so long, but I've bought all these instruments instead, and
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Eventually,
it will get there.
There you go. You will get to it. Very cool.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned not being into music growing up. So when did you get into music, and how?
Yeah. Well, I think it was through the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, actually.
Ooh, awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I played that a lot me and my friends played that a lot on Nintendo GameCube, and I loved the soundtrack. It was really all this great punk rock and hip hop and all that. And me and my friends became like punks, kind of punks. So we listened to a lot of punk music, and I kind of identified with that finally. Just I've been like trying out different sports and whatever for all when I was growing up, but never really found my thing connected with anything. But then I started with this punk thing, and it was a classic. It's like every band biography you've ever seen on
oh my goodness.
or read.
Yes.
It's like, the schools having like I think it's middle school was ninth grade, something like that. They had like a school show at the end of every year, and everyone can apply for. And we were like, we're gonna start a band. We're gonna start a band. And I was the only one that actually bought an instrument. No one knew how to play.
Took it serious.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
what did you buy? What instrument? Guitar?
I was supposed to become the bass player of the band, but then my friend was like, I want to play the bass. So I got the guitar.
Gotcha.
So I bought a cheap electric guitar with a tiny amp. Just
Sure.
Yeah, and I played it. I don't know why. It just connected with me. Just
got you.
Love the electro, because I as I mentioned, I was pretty shy, and I didn't like enjoy loud noises that much at that time, like playing drums or anything like that. Like, oh no, not my thing really. So I love that with the electric guitar you could both play loud and you could also like practice silently, pretty much, like shut yourself in your room and just like sit and play riffs all day long.
Yeah.
And then when you felt comfortable, you can like crank it up and
turn it up, crank it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So we're talking high school. High school is around the time that you got into music. Yeah. You started kind of just messing around, playing by ear. Did you ever take lessons? Did you kind of taught yourself?
I taught myself at first for like a year, I think. This was like when all you could have online was like tabs or old VHS or DVDs that you were pirated and you downloaded. So so I started out that way. YouTube, you only had like I don't know why. It was weird. You could get like these guitar lessons, and they were like 2 minutes long tops or something like that, because no one wanted to freely give away all the secrets and stuff like that. So So it was really, it was like browsing forever for like, have I seen this clip? Have I seen this clip? Yes, I've seen it. No, I've seen it. And then practicing. And so I started out that way and tried to learn all that, because I had a few friends in my school that played, and I've heard what they've been playing on like parties, you know, what riffs and what songs, and I was like, I'm gonna learn every one of those songs and play better than them. Because I always felt like I was chased by kind of like a hurricane, because I started late and sorry, my mic's gone down. I don't know if you've heard me.
All good.
Okay.
Let's start from the beginning. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's good. What? You're good.
Right. So I started, and then I one of my friends wanted help with a song, and she went to a public music school. We have something in Sweden called Kulturskolan. It's like it's pretty much free. It's very cheap, and you get public help for like playing instruments.
Very cool. Sure.
For kids. So that teacher noticed that I loved playing, and things that I didn't feel like, okay, I'm not that good. He was like, but some people will never be able to play the things that you actually played right here. I played like some Led Zeppelin stuff and riffs from them, and that I thought like, everyone can play that. But he was like, no, not everyone can actually play
not
that.
Everyone.
So you have to start here. And he took me under his wing a little bit, and that was awesome. So I got in there and started playing with other kids, some sort of like ensemble band thing, just playing covers and learning.
That's awesome, dude. And the rest was history. And then so that was the introduction. And now you got things like this.
Yes,
you know, and you're messing around with some really high. There we go. Do you ever use? I think I did a post online or something, 'cause I was kind of curious about the Velcro on the back. Have you used them? And do you?
Never.
Not yet, right? It's kind of like. What are your thoughts? Like, it's like the permanency of having to put those ones somewhere. It's like, I don't know if I want to, like, it's kind of hard to decide where to go.
Exactly. I'm totally with you. It's exactly the same thing. I have such anxiety of where to commit. Where should I put this?
Commit. Right?
It's like,
that's a good word.
No.
overwhelming. What was your and then I'll share mine quickly. But well, actually, I'll tell you. Mine was the OPZ. That was my introduction, first teenage engineering device that I purchased right when it came out. What was your introduction to the company? I know you live in Sweden, where they're located. So how did you kind of become aware that they existed?
Yeah, I think I saw the Swedish House Mafia video to their single One.
Cool.
They have the OP1. If you haven't, for those who haven't seen it, there's like I think almost the entire video is the OP1 from up top, and just a lot of hands touching and playing and everything. So that was really cool, and because the design is just iconic to the OP1. So I was like, that's cool. I didn't know what it was. And I was like, kind of still into. I turned from rock to like blues and improvisational music. So, so I was like, yeah, okay, I can notice. I see that they are not actually playing this song in the video when they're like messing around with everyone. So I was like, not impressed. But then I had my high horses ready.
Sure.
So, but then I started out with synths, and I saw it again. I think it was Sonic State. Nick Batt from Sonic State did some review of it, and yeah, it was cool. So OP1 was my first look into it, and I didn't really pay much attention. I thought it was cool, quirky, really expensive, and then I left it at that. But then my brother big brother is really into all the hip stuff. He knows all that, what's coming up and what's cool. He's not a musician, but he is. I think he has some sort of like feel for what this is gonna go places.
Wow.
So
Cool.
he was like sending me a picture of a Swedish artist using the OP1 in a studio. He was like, "You have to get this." I was like, okay, and I found one on the used Facebook marketplace in Sweden, and that was before all the price increase and everything. So I think I copped it for like would be like $350 or something like that. So that was cheap even then. So, and then with the price increase, like, because I would never have been able to afford it. I was a student at the time, so I wouldn't. That was above my pay grade. So.
Much, like significantly, right? That's really cool. And I actually have not seen the video. I've heard of Swedish House Mafia, and I've heard of their involvement, with the original OP1, but you better believe that when I get to my coffee shop today to do some work, I will be watching that video. I'm actually super intrigued by it. And so yeah, OPZ was mine, original OP1 was yours. And so you do an amazing job at sharing quality videos on your Instagram. That's your main platform.
Yeah, that's my main.
Is that right? Where you post stuff?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You're most welcome. Yeah, it's inspiring, dude, because the deal is that like we're all in this world, not all, but for those of us who are in this world of making content that we enjoy, that we're proud of. For me, when people are inspired, maybe we'll just use that word, right? Motivated or inspired by what I'm doing, and people share that with me, it's like the most important thing, right? Rather, the likes are cool, comments are even cooler, but like when people are direct, like, and have some thoughtful sort of presentation about what this meant to them. So I definitely wanted to share that to you in this video. When did you sort of get into making content with TE's products, as well as other stuff? I know that you kind of experiment with a lot of different gear. So how many years have you been sort of making content on your Instagram?
I think it's been I think it's 2 years when I really put effort into it. Like I really felt like I was on track with it, and I think it was a year before that I started out this Shimmery.mp3 Instagram. A little bit earlier than that, though, a couple of years earlier, I had a YouTube channel when the Pocket Operators was released. The Teenage Engineering PO12 and 14 and 16 came out, I think. Guess that must have been like, was that 2015, something around there. I don't know. But yeah, so I started a YouTube channel and I did some videos with those, and that really went over the top of my excitement. I was just like, wow, it's getting like 35,000 views, and I was like, wow, this YouTube thing is so easy, and it was like, but yeah, and I loved it, but then I kind of like I struggled with like self-doubt and actually feeling like this is something like I'm good at, that I should keep going with. Is it worth going on with it? Is it not just like, is people like actually enjoying it? It's just bad thoughts, messing up the flow, and eventually I just like left it there. So that's something I've been regretting for many years, that I felt like I had something going, I had the momentum and everything, people were cheering me on, and I just like left it there. So when I started out with Shimmery, I felt like now I will try to redeem this and get back
recapture that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, after a couple of months posting with Shimmery, I felt almost like the same thing. It wasn't like this success that my YouTube channel had been, but I also I think I left it for like 6 months or something. The Shimmery page as well, and that could have been it. All of this fun stuff that I have experienced over these 2.5 years could have been lost. So that's, I'm so grateful to be here and to be able to talk to you and be invited to these cool stuff. This is amazing. But I eventually what made me pick it up again was like I was making all this stuff because I had all the equipment. I was making music. I had these fun instruments that inspired me. But I had nowhere to put it. I didn't think it was good enough to be released. But I also liked and I also liked capturing videos of nature and stuff like that. Good vibes, like pretty water, pretty sunlight on water, leaves blowing, time changing, seasons changing. I mean, but so I was like, well, and I didn't really have any place to post those videos, and I didn't have any place to post those songs. So I was like, like put those things together, and I started posting nature videos with ambient music on top.
Sweet.
So and that was just like that created some sort of like, okay, I'm not just doing this for followers or this is for me now. I'm making this because I like this, and people should probably enjoy this, and they did. So I started that. That's what like got me into because you need to. I'm pretty sure you feel the same. You need to find a routine to like be able to create. So it's not this huge mountain you have to climb every time you have to make a video or record something. You need to find a routine that works for you, a workflow to be able to make videos when you feel inspired by it. So
totally. 100%.
So that was my gateway to getting into content, was making those ambient nature videos, and then people started to like ask me, what gear do you use? And I was like, okay, how am I going to showcase the gear? And I was like, okay, I'll write what gear I use, and then I put some pictures maybe in there with what gear I used, and then eventually it progressed to let's just show me making the videos, the music with the instruments in frame. And so it just gradually progressed, and people gradually started to like it more and more. And like last year, everything blew up for me, and had some viral clips on Instagram, and a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And I think it's an important point about like what you said earlier about how you made like the nature and ambient music that you were creating. You were proud of it. You enjoyed making it, and you kind of wanted just a place to sort of catalog it essentially, and keep yourself, keep that routine and keep yourself accountable, and have a place to kind of just put this content. And now sort of the combination of both, creative work, that the stuff that you enjoy, coupled with like the tutorial-esque videos that you've shared and displaying different features. Like I'm thinking of one of the ones that stuck out to me is the hidden game, right, in the TX6, of which I had no idea. I'm about to play this all day today. I love Block Breaker, and so things like that are cool. They really resonate. I would ask, out of all of your, I guess we'll start with TE. What would you say currently is your, I'll either say favorite / most used piece of TE equipment currently?
Oh, it must be the OP1 Field. Is such a good upgrade to the original, and it's such a solid machine. So I've been using it all time now. When I'm
all the time.
Yeah, well, I guess I had a short time lately when I've been like focused on the OPC a little bit more, but because I want to. Because I've been going freeform, ambient, kind of just no time signatures really for so long now. So I've been wanting to, like, it's pretty sweet to have some sort of drums and
a little
kind of pulse to it. So and it's always been like a struggle with me. I have some Electron gear and I have the OPC, and I've been producing in the box for a long time before going hardware. Where was I going? I always struggled to had this vision to learn how to create ambient, freeform, evolving stuff with sequencers. I had a hard time with it. I still do, but I'm getting there closer and closer. But so I'm feeling like lately I've been drawn more to the OPC. I think I need to get some more new samples into it to make it feel a little bit fresh, and I think I go from there.
That's incredible. So let's well, first of all, I love my Z so much. It's definitely the most used out of all my equipment, mostly because I've owned it the longest, and the workflow and the creative way of creating on there. That's redundant, creative way of creating, but yes, the creative way of making music and then performing on there, dude, with the performance effects and stuff are just like, they blow my mind constantly. So I love that so much. But the OP1 Field, what's fascinating about it is I go through different phases of using it in totally different ways. For example, at one point I turned off, I put, I guess, free mode on the metronome, so I didn't have beat match on, right, for pretty much all the tapes. And I was just experimenting with just taking some of my favorite songs that I like listening to, so not necessarily songs that I created, most of the time not songs I created, ones from the radio, old school, all that type of stuff, and just recording, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds of my favorite part of the song to tape, and then timing. And I did a video on this because I just thought it was really dope and really profound. So you know how you can, on the OB4, you could, sort of time a loop and then kind of catch a loop on the radio or wherever the audio source is. So I was trying to figure out how to do something similar on the Field, and naturally, as the song is playing, hitting the in button right at the start of the bar, hitting the out button right at the end will capture that loop similar to the OB4. And so for me doing that now, having my favorite part looping and then pitch shifting it and then adding these mother effects and all this stuff, and I amassed on all 8 tapes just a catalog of just crazy sounding stuff that's different than the way that it actually sounded. And I wasn't even I was rarely, if ever, even hitting the keyboard, playing anything on there. I was just using that. So it was so much fun. And then I was all right, I'm done with this for now. Let me go. I was having a conversation with someone. He's that's really interesting. He's I only use it by I never bring anything into it. I only use the synths and sounds that are on here. I was that's a good idea. Let me experiment with that. And so I started doing that lately. So I say all that to say it's very, very interesting how differently people can use the device. So I ask you, currently, if you were going to your favorite location out at a park or a coffee shop, whatever, and you got yours out, what kind of, walk me through a little bit your workflow. What would you be doing on the OP1 later on today, for example?
Yeah, first of all, that's a really interesting thing you mentioned there with capturing your favorite parts of songs, and I need to do that more too. I'm gonna try that out for sure.
For sure, yeah.
But if I usually, I have a couple of sounds I'm drawn to. I like all these little plucky things that almost like do a little ugly click. Because I was brought when I was taught. I studied audio production and everything, mixing, and I spent years trying to perfect all that. And here in Sweden, at least, we're taught to be very, very clean recordings, no cuts, fade everything, no pops, no clicks, like anything on your recordings. So, but when I started with this Shimmery thing, I was like, now I can, okay, I get some pops and clicks, but I kind of like it. Do I actually have to remove them? No, no one. I'm in charge now, so I can, so so I'll just leave them in. So I tend to be drawn to some sort of stuff. It's just, I feel that my process right now is pretty boring, actually, because I've done it so many times. I usually just hit like 4 or 8 bars. Don't really care about the tempo because I don't have the metronome on. And then I love to just like start live looping. Actually, just hit record and play, and then I just go through some stuff and play pretty sparse first, not too many notes. Let it go around one loop and just add a little when it feels like, I should find some note there, and then go around again, add something there, go around, and then maybe like press play so I don't record, just try some stuff, maybe pitch shift down like an octave or a certain amount of semitones, and just add stuff again, and just like add a lot of that stuff. So I usually use the OP1, like I have like 2 tracks. I still, even though I started capturing making use of the field upgrades where you can you can record to the left side and the right side of one track.
I enjoy that.
I'm still a little bit stuck in the old OP1 when you had to sacrifice 2 tracks to like have one on the left and one on the right, and then I had 2 in the middle. So I'm stuck in that mind that way a little bit still, but I'm trying to get out of it. But I feel it's really nice to like just get the sides. I record separately, and I try to make them a different octave or pitch. Like maybe I go back to my original pitch then, or actually no, I go even lower. It must be I go maybe an octave lower and record my sides, and then I go up again. So they are an octave and I have artifacts and twinkles to them that they shouldn't be if you just record them straight in.
I see.
So that gets this kind of. I'm telling you all my secrets here, but it becomes a bit more dreamy and weird. I like that. That's my like usually go-to thing. And if I feel drums, I just throw them in there. Sometimes with fun sequence, I just use one of the weird sequencers that's on the OP1 and go Aphex Twin all the way, just making weird rhythms.
You talk about the sequences and another and that's really cool. And I love just asking this question to people who know the piece of equipment, just because there's never a right and wrong way to use anything, right? As long as the way that's creative and fun for you. And for me, what I just love about it is kind of what it did, I guess, for you, for me sharing my little process when I first got it, and then you doing the same. It's like, it's just fun thinking, let me try that and let me experiment with that a little bit. And last night, I think I happened to be looking on TE's YouTube page at like really old videos of the original OP1 tutorials, because I spend very, very, very little time in any of the sequencers, because I just haven't sat down and like learned them in order for them to be effective for me. But I happened to be watching the pattern sequencer yesterday. And as I was watching it, I'm like, oh, wait. So like if you, and this might sound obvious to you and others watching it, but if you were to twist the red knob and have that pattern just kind of flowing and you hold shift, you could play in the beat, the kicks and whatever you want, the sounds that you want, you can play them in like in real time with the metronome, which might again sound obvious, but I never knew that there was something even close to like what I know as like a sequencer type thing, right? And then you add a little swing to that, and then obviously you can now switch drum tracks and kind of get a different feel. So I'm gonna be spending time like experimenting with that today, and that's just fun. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make a song, and this is gonna be the starting point, just so I could practice something new, on this piece of equipment. It's incredible. Have you used the connection between this and the OB4, like the radio frequency wireless connection?
No,
have you experimented?
Don't think no, I haven't actually. I haven't. I think I tried
Not
it
yet?
like once, perhaps, just to see if it worked. But no, not. I haven't dove into it.
Oh, yeah, I'm kind of like fascinated by that because I spent a lot of time like on like iPad production, and there was the time where I wanted to be able to connect to my Bluetooth headphones or connect to my Bluetooth speaker. But of course, producing, you can't really do that because of that delay that happens, right? It's not really effective. Whereas connecting to a MIDI keyboard via Bluetooth, you actually can, because like from what I understand, the size of the data, with that is tiny compared to the size of the data for Bluetooth audio, right? So I was always like, oh, okay, so there's no way to do that. There's no way to wirelessly. I don't know if other people were fascinated or were curious about this capability, but I know that I was, just because if I'm out somewhere, to not have to like take out a USB-C hub and then plug in wired headphones, like that was something that kind of important to me, right? So when they basically came out with like this, it's not using Bluetooth for this feature, it's using RF, and technologically, for whatever reason, that is able to happen with minimal, if any, latency. I was blown away. Granted, of course, there's a little bit of static, right? That type of thing. So it's not the same as just plugging directly in. But it was just kind of like, it was just fascinating. Like, wow, so it can work with a much older technology than actually Bluetooth,
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's something Teenage have always been good at. Just like with the OP1, when everyone was going digital, everyone was producing EDM in the box, and they release a tape recorder without a step sequencer. Well, they have the pattern, but it was still not. It's a tape-based sequencer, and everyone's like, why? And now it's like everyone it's going out now. I guess it's pretty. The hype is dying out a little bit, but it's been like the tape craze deluxe lately. Everyone wanted to be using a tape recorder to record their stuff, and
oh yeah.
So I think they're great at incorporating old technology in new products, so it can. So that's really cool.
Couldn't agree more. And so let me ask this question: like, I've asked other people who are into TE's equipment. I find it quite fascinating thinking about what I imagine like there had to have been conversations when, in my opinion, when this was coming out, when the field was coming out, in terms of, are we going to implement an undo button, and are we going to implement some form of quantization, right? Things that make the OP1 is the fact that they are not there. And I've grown to love the fact that there's no undo now at this point, because I'm like, let me be a little bit sharper with this recording, and let me be a little bit more careful, but also if I mess up, like, oh, okay, let me try it again or whatever. So in your opinion, do you think that them, and clearly they don't have it on this, they could have put it if they wanted, right? And some people would have been happy. Do you think that it would be good or bad? Let's talk about undo for this piece of equipment to actually have an undo feature in it.
I like you. I think that's part of like the TE thing as well. They want to please their audience, but they also want to do their vision. And I think this is. I love that there's no undo, and sometimes I hate it. I've messed up so many projects when I like, because you usually like cut and then paste to have some sort of safety if you mess up too much. And then you paste the wrong thing on top of the wrong track, and then you have like a half track that's
mess up two things.
All of a sudden hi-hats, and then you go to the metal. It's just, I've been so frustrated. When I first bought the OP1, I took a year almost to only use the OP1 just to like really learn how to produce on it, and I wished it was like the OPC at the time. The OPC that wasn't around, and I was like, why isn't it? The OPC would have been my dream machine back then, but now I'm just, I really love the OP1, and I really embraced the workflow, and I love the tape thing. It's really, it just gives you the freedom that the step sequencer really can't provide for you, but sometimes you love it as well. the safety of a step sequencer can be amazing too. So of course, but I appreciate that there's no undo, because I feel it's like you said, it gives the product something special. It's the OP1 because it doesn't have the undo feature.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yep. And it's like they're taking a bet on themselves, because even with the original, it's probably like, hey, should we do this? Are we sure we should do this? Are people going to is this going to catch on as like a positive thing? And the rest was history. Like 10 years ago, it's pretty fascinating. So let's talk a little bit about like your like branding and like a little bit more about like social media and stuff. So like for me, I've taken actually a nice big step back on Instagram for me, right? I took 10 days off the platform to start this month, just to, refresh, reset, all that good stuff. And now that I'm kind of tiptoeing and put my toe back into the mix, I'm starting to just figure out, because there's things that I missed for sure. Like I wouldn't have been able to connect with people like you and many others, right, if there wasn't for that platform. And so I'm trying to like be very thoughtful with how I see utilizing and integrating specifically Instagram in the mix can be helpful for me. So like I'll ask you this question: like you create content, you share stuff, weekly, a couple times. Do you do it on schedule, or do you share things like kind of when you feel like you want to make something? I guess the first question.
I usually try to aim for 3 times a week. So I go like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and if I'm feeling extra, have this mental capacity and strength to energy to do it, I'll try to post like on Saturday or Friday too. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursday is usually my posting days. So I'll try to get a post out later today. Hopefully.
Later today. So have you like, how thoughtful are you when it comes to managing the other aspects of Instagram that has adverse effects on us, such as comparison, such as time sink, just being on the platform, like the negative stuff? I'm sure you're aware of it, but like, do you feel like you have a strong grasp on balancing, utilizing it the right way, but not having it use you?
Not really sure I understood the question. Could you phrase?
Oh, I can rephrase it. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I kind of want to know like the parts of Instagram that are bad, such as logging into it and comparing yourself to others. And maybe you should be practicing piano or guitar, but you go on Instagram and you end up spending like an hour there instead of doing something more important, and countless other things that people deal with. So I guess the question sort of is like, do you feel as though you as a content creator have a grasp on like balancing those negative things? Like, do you feel like you're utilizing the platform and you're getting more out of it than it's getting out of you?
Yeah, I think in the end, I think they're getting more out of me than I'm getting more out of them. But it's been it's I'm not sure, but I've had a wonderful time there, just meeting lovely people like you and tons of others. It's been amazing, learning so much, finding a community around the world where, unless I'm stuck here in a small town in south of Sweden, being like almost only synth person around in this area.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's really amazing that way. But I'm, of course, I get stuck with. I've had periods of time where I compare too much, or I get hung up on numbers, trying to follow the trends a little bit. How now the platform is changing. How can I adapt to it? Sometimes I think that you have to try at least to adapt a little bit. But then I've noticed, like, because I guess it still is, but a few months ago, like half a year ago or something, it was the 15-second clips. 7-second clips were like the hype. Everyone was gonna trim down their clips, and if you make ambient music, you don't get that much ambient vibe in 7 seconds.
7 seconds, sure, impossible.
So I tried it a little bit, but quickly noticed that this is not the way. But so you have to adapt a little bit. But I feel like I try to get now. I'm more. Sorry, I stumble a lot on my words.
No, it's okay.
But I feel like now I'm after these 2 years of like really doing this with a plan. I've learned. I've seen the highs and lows so many times. Like now, everyone loves my stuff. I get so much views and everything, and then like, ooh, why don't they love me? Why don't my Instagram is broken? And then it's, oh, now I'm back again. And then it goes just keeps returning in cycles. And so I've seen that a few times now. So I think I'm learning a little bit to like just keep calm, just do what I do, and not think too much about it. That being said, I just came out from like a break as well. I took 2 weeks off Instagram right now to just. I got the flu and felt like hell, and then I also felt like a little bit burnt out, and I had to. You have to take care of yourself, because otherwise it's just not worth it. So
100%.
And
yeah. Are you feeling better now?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. Just a little bit sore throat, but
a little something.
But I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Glad to hear that. All right, so I got a couple of rapid fire questions for you, and then we'll wrap up. Okay. So let's see. First question would be: name a movie and name a show that you love.
Well, people has been around my Instagram, or is this supposed to be like chat, just super fast? Or,
oh no. You can think. That's cool. Yeah. Take a sec. Take a minute. All good.
Could I ramble a bit?
Yeah, ramble a bit. Do it.
Because people that's been around my Instagram know I don't know why I always end up making Blade Runner influenced tracks.
Oh wow!
I'm a big sci-fi geek, so Blade Runner or like I don't know, Alien. I think Alien 1 is probably my movie of choice. I really love.
Wow. Okay.
I love that franchise. Yep. And show, I watch so many shows, but really been enjoying The Last of Us, like a lot of people.
Ooh,
and
incredible.
Yeah, definitely. And
did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished it. Should we spoil it?
Did you play the game? No. I don't know. I guess the first season. Did you play the games or no?
No, I didn't play the games, but I've seen a few. I remember when they came out, and I had a few friends talk about them, so I know a little bit what's going to happen. I hope probably, but I'm really
Gotcha.
I don't care. Have you played them?
I have, and I absolutely loved both of them, and I absolutely loved the show. And as I've shared with a lot of people, there's been times like I've been trying so hard to like get people to play the game. Like you have to play it, you have to, but. No, I'm not going to play it. Like I don't have time, or I'm not that interested, Kevin. I'm like, all right, fair enough. So the idea that they came up with this show that, in my opinion, they did such a phenomenal job of depicting the important this theme of the game, I was like blown away by it. And I'm just happy that people like yourself and many others, my wife and friends, have a chance to experience what I experienced 8-10 years ago. Yeah. It was incredible. What did you think of the? I mean, it's not a spoiler, I guess. I mean, if you didn't watch it, I guess like click away, whatever. That's fine. But what did you think of the ending? Like in terms of like what he did to do what he had to do.
Yeah, I feel it left a bad taste in my mouth or something.
Yeah.
And I think it's really nice. It's really well made. It's really well written, and the game I've heard it's just fantastic. So it's a great story, and I really, because I guess that's human, being human. For you. Sometimes you make the decision to just what's best for you and what you think will be best for others, and But it's still.
I mean, he was ruthless in there, huh? Like he was not willing to endure that level of loss again. You can't blame him for that. But at the same time, it's like, wow, like if there was a chance to save humanity, and that's the thing, it was a chance. It wasn't like guaranteed per se. But yeah, those writers, like I'm all about it. I can't wait. I'm excited. Neil Druckmann, the creator of the game, shared on his Instagram, I guess as like a way to whet the appetite for people who are, used to Sundays rolling around and watching an episode. So yesterday, he shared a picture. He's like, no Last of Us tonight, of course, the season's over, but just know that we're already working on the next season. And he shared a picture on it that a teaser picture of the second season. That if you play the game, you're like, oh, okay, that type of thing. But people can look at. I shared it to my story. I was like, this is pretty dope. So I'm very, very excited for that. And it's like I get excited talking about this stuff, man. It's like something that leaves you thinking afterwards. Is definitely an exciting thing. I didn't talk about the TX6 with you at all. Do you use it? And if so, like how do you use it like in your workflow to create content, to do live streaming, performance? Like what do you do with your TX6?
I actually been underutilized. I don't know the word. But I haven't been using it that much actually. Not enough. But I have big plans for it to incorporate in some sort of like a live setup. So and until now I just been like messing around. I immediately when I learned that there was this tone generator thing in it, I was okay. I know what I'm gonna do, and because I made a video on my channel where you play like these different tones and into a big reverb, and it's just I love it, love that sound. So
wow.
So I've been doing that. I've been and I did an alternative version of that with the drum tracks, just having kick drums on every track, tuned a little bit different and in different sequences, some random, some stable, and just
interesting,
making some weird stuff happen.
Yeah. See, that's fascinating. I've heard about the tone generator, never thought to even use it. I'm like, why would I use that if I have the OP1 with me instead, or the Z or whatever? But now that's like, there's a reason, because some of those effects on there that you use with it, as you're describing, you can really get some interesting things. I've been having just the absolute blast of a time using my TX6, using it to live stream outside of the house, right? So like basically there's an app called, do you use the iPad for music apps at all, or have you?
I did back in the day, but mine iPad is pretty tired right now, so it's ready.
Gotcha. You got an old school one, huh? I still use I used to use it a lot more, but now with some of this other gear that I have, I use it a lot less. But I have a ton of songs in my favorite iOS app is called Korg Gadget 2, and it is a sequence-based DAW that people who love it, but people who don't love it don't love it for the reasons. It's an obvious statement, huh? For the reasons of the fact that it's kind of like a closed box. You can't really like bring other stuff into it and stuff. But I have a ton of music that I created in there. But using the TX6, sending the iPad into the TX6, and then like leveraging those effects, like the beat detection, incredible. Right, so basically sending it in and then saying, on track one, like detect the beat of whatever's coming in, and then being able to have the tempo on the TX6 clocked or synced exactly to whatever song is currently playing allows me to then like utilize some of the effects that are sort of tempo based, such as like the delay, like to delay in time, or like the tremolo. I think the tremolo is that the one on the second one where you could like kind of get like a tremolo effect that's like in time. So like things like that are just incredible, and as well as like the ducking feature, because I think you have the M1 headset on there, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. So I use that headset. Yeah, there you go. Yep. With the mic, and I use the ducking feature, which is so dope for live performance when you want to talk, and it'll like your voice goes above the sound, so it kind of ducks under, as well as like creating content. Like if I wanted to sort of expedite the process a little bit, sometimes I would need to like I really don't do it, but there's like ducking in my video editing app, but I never get that granular. But if I wanted to incorporate that in the up front, I have the capability of doing it with this little device. So I did not know how much I was gonna like really be using it, but I use it like all the time now. It's always with me, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to see what you end up doing with yours as well. I'm going to ask one more question. Actually, two more. First off, you're in Sweden. So have you been how far are you from Teenage Engineering's headquarters, and have you been before?
Oh, I have not been there. I am like 6 hours drive from them. Something.
Gotcha.
So it's not incredibly far, but yeah, we've been talking a lot about setting up a meeting where I can come up to the HQ and check it out. But yeah, they're working hard. I'm barely working, I was about to say, but
you're recovering from the flu.
Yeah, I'm working with my stuff, so it's been hard to like find a date, so like.
Gotcha.
Schedule a time, so we'll see. My brother lives up there in Stockholm, so I'll try
cool.
to check it out. So go visit him, and at the same time head over to TE and talk to them.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. I'm excited for you for that opportunity. And last but not least, about locations, where is a place that you visited that you loved?
Okay. I've been. I haven't really traveled much. For a lot of years, I didn't really travel at all because I'm not really good with heat. I get really warm. It's like,
Gotcha.
Give me water. Can we go back to the hotel?
Right.
And so yeah. Right. But I've been enjoying. We went to Prague. In the Czech Republic last year. That was amazing.
Nice. Wow.
Met up with.
What were some of the highlights there? Like, what'd you love about it?
Oh, it's a beautiful city. Cheap beer, good food, and nice. I met up with Patrick from Bastel Instruments there.
Oh, cool.
So I got to see Noise Kitchen, their store that they had there with all their modules and a lot of fun stuff. So awesome. I hung out there with him a few hours and just jammed, talked synths. That was really nice.
Sweet. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm working with them pretty much a lot. So it's really fun to meet up in person and be able to like really grab lunch and talk, not just email.
Yeah.
Or
in person. It's a different dynamic, right? Yeah. Someone posted. Let's see, one of the app developers for one of the music apps. I was talking to him recently, but he posted like a picture of this cabin that he was at. I think he either lives in or was around like the Denver area in Colorado. So it was like snowy, and he was in this like really like nice looking cabin. And I was just chatting with him. I was like, yo, man, I was like, eventually, like we need to like get a place like this and like invite all of our music content creator friends or musicians. Like imagine like having like 2 nights like in a place like this and just all jamming with people that we have relationships with, like yourself, but haven't met in person yet. And hopefully like down the road, that's something that sticks in my mind, of like some type of way for people to get together in person. And I know it's a lot of logistics to that. As I'm just thinking, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot that needs to happen in order to pull that off, but I mean, I'm good at that type of stuff. So I would take the lead on something like that.
Oh my God, Kevin, that would be awesome. Like the TikTok houses, we could be like the ambient houses.
Yeah. There you go. Yep. All with our equipment and just jam. I feel like the art that would come out of that would just be special. Mm-hmm. It would just be special, just making something with your music pals.
Yeah.
But awesome. We'll leave it at that. I am super appreciative of you taking the time out. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I'm glad we were able to have this conversation.
Me too.
And I learned some stuff. I learned about you, and I have some ideas about trying some things out with the equipment that I have, the way that you've been using it. Hopefully, you learn the same, and others who are watching this as well. Sure. And man, hope you have a great rest of your day.
Same to you, Kevin. Thank you so much. Been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it.
Pleasure was all mine. Have a good one. All right.
Yeah, you too.